All right, what's up, folks? Welcome back to the draft of our third game of the day, VORAX Esports versus Rensga. I'm joined by a very new face here for the broadcast. Please give a warm welcome to Axeman87.
What's up, guys? Axeman87. Dia, I have been so excited about this for the last couple of weeks. I'm looking forward to getting into it. And yeah, this should be a really good one to watch for us here.
Yeah, this is probably the most even match of the day to me because VORAX struggling a little bit yesterday, but Rensga also still getting on their feet. Clearly a lot of talent on this roster, and as Rudude previously pointed out, I am very heavily looking at Trigo in the bot lane. Already though, you know that we won't be looking at jungle that much because VORAX do not want to play around it, banning out 3 junglers in the first phase.
Something I love so much about watching teams try to get back on their feet after missing that first few steps is that this is where innovation is born, right? It's not born from the top teams who just have to keep replicating what they did already in this league. It's born from the teams that are being told, hey, what you did yesterday, it's not going to be good enough. You need to change something up. And that's what we're going to be seeing from both of these teams here is switching it up. We're going to see some different champions, some different play styles. Already you look at the bans, a lot of jungle coming through here. Especially from VORAX, but some of these bans are going towards the top lane for Rensga. It's not something we generally see.
Yeah, and the first pick Lucian is something that we definitely haven't seen, but Rensga playing it close to the chest are keeping up with the meta, going Graves, Kaisa. On the other side of this, though, VORAX seem to have a game plan. I just can't tell what it is. When you pick up Volibear, Galio, where are these things going?
So for me, the Volibear Galio makes sense, just kind of in a vacuum. Um, when you talk about going for that turret dive, right? You have this mid laner that's really competent at roaming, can actually just push a button and roam instantly. And you have Volibear that can turn off your tower for 2 seconds. And if I'm the top laner for Rensga, I'm thinking, that's not good.
Yeah.
This isn't going to be fun.
No, it's certainly not going to be. But how is this going to get to have a little bit of fun? Is we're going to see our third Zoe. This is interesting to me. Zoe has seemed to emerge in CBLOL as a hey, we think our mid laner is mechanically good, is mechanically better than you, so they're going to play Zoe and try and style on you. We've seen it work. We've seen it fail. Mike. I'm curious to see whether House has the mechanical ability to back this up. He's a good Victor. Is he a good Zoe?
And that remains to be seen, Dia. But one thing about the Zoe pick and something I see so much in the chat rooms and the Reddit threads on the internet and stuff like that is just that. Why is my favorite pro player picking Zoe? They never hit a bubble. They never hit any of these skill shots. And something you have to keep in mind about Zoe is that it doesn't matter if you hit things. It's the threat, right?
Hmm.
As long as you're forcing the enemy laner to do something because of your skill shots, you're having success in this lane. Now, this is a mage, and you have picked it into Galio. So whether that success will come through here remains to be seen. But this is a vicious mid laner, right? I think we've all been nailed by some Zoe bubbles and thought, why does this champion exist?
Yeah, it's a rough time to be certain. Right now, what I want to focus on is the clamping down that Rensga are taking into the bot lane, banning out double AD carry after VORAX have theoretically claimed their own. They've even picked up a set which we can presume to be support for the moment.
I would assume so, yeah. Definitely the potential to go top. I believe Set into Volibear is a fairly favorable matchup. Set does pretty well into most juggernauts, kind of outpaced only by Alawi. But yeah, I think it's kind of either or at the moment. Matsukaze picks up the Talia here. That's exciting stuff. It's a very strong jungler. Um, to be honest, I'm surprised they pick it this late into the draft. But I think if you're going Galio mid, it's a little bit of an opportunity to try and get your jungler a bit better of a matchup into some of these lanes. So, and that Jin last pick coming through as well. This is a very good pick to pick alongside Lucian, but it does mean that I believe Lucian's going mid.
Yeah, and then he's well, okay. Hold on, what's happening here? Okay, Volibear jungle, Lucian mid, no Volibear top.
Both
No,
top.
Talia jungle, Lucian mid.
Talia
Yeah, there we
jungle.
go. There we go.
There we go. Lucian mid. All right. We got there in the end, but yeah, this should be Lucian mid here for Crastiel, and I like it. I like this a lot, right? We talked about the potential of the Galio to go into the Zoe, and that would have been a pretty good matchup, and the roaming there. But to be honest, I like the Lucian even more. Lucian is. It takes the lane from like I survive in this lane and then I can roam as Galio to I'm Lucian, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win this lane and we're gonna take it. And then if we want to roam, we can, or I could just take their whole mid lane too. But Lucian's very strong right now.
Yeah, and hitting skill shots on Lucian is not a task for the faint of heart here. And honestly, neither is going to be top lane because we haven't focused on it yet, but Gragas was picked up for the second time today into Volibear.
Interesting stuff. We see Gragas top more and more, and I have it on good authority from Gragas top mains that Gragas top is a little bit different in season 11. Scales a lot better than it used to. There are only so many Gragas top mains though, so who knows? Maybe this isn't a good pick, but we're certainly starting to see it more than we did.
Yeah, it looked pretty decent in last game, at least, with the amount of threat that it can bring to a team fight, as well as the diversity of build paths that you can take with it. There's a lot of unknowns that come when you pick Gragas as to what you'll actually be playing into, the variety of styles that he can slot into. And right now, speaking of styles, I want to take a moment to break down what exactly these styles are. To me, VORAX at least have a team fighting comp. Axeman. All right, I've missed Axeman here, but we are gonna get ourselves loading onto the rift as hopefully Axeman will find his way back from the jungle. In the meantime, Rensga gonna be climbing out here with what I don't see as much as a team fighting composition. Yes, they have Kiari, but I would rather see this go for a full AP burst because to me the pick is so powerful here that you can burst through FNB if you do even pick him off. There's so much damage that can come from Rensga. And Axeman, I hear the sound of
Am
your
I
lovely
back?
voice.
I
Yeah,
am
you're back.
here. Yeah, I am back. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe it was some interference from the jungle. I think that could have been what it was. But yeah, I did hear your question. I think it is a team fighting comp. I think any comp with a Galio is a team fighting comp. It has the potential anyway, right? Big AoE ultimates tend to make team fighting comps a lot easier. You have a good front to back as well with the Volibear, and I think they're going to have a lot of success in that avenue. Not only that, but the most important team fights, in my opinion, are the first couple.
Mm.
I know that might be a bit of a hot take. It seems like the last couple team fights before your Nexus gets taken are probably more important. But if you start the game out at level 6, level 8 with a good skirmish over a dragon, that can really set up the rest of the game for you, especially when you have a Lucian mid.
Yeah, we even saw it last game, so I would like to see that continue to be set up here, and you can see that the audience very much favoring VORAX right now. Rensga's got a little bit of support, and they're a team that certainly has a large fan base, but it would be weird to put your coins in their basket right now, just because it doesn't seem like they had the greatest early start. To me, the person I'm still looking at, even off of this draft, is still Trigo. The Kaisa has the ability to pop off here, and there's a lot of very front-loaded damage from everyone else.
Absolutely, and they really got to make sure that they're both landing those abilities with your Gragas, your Kaiser, your Zoe, and making sure that you're staying safe as well. Because their front to back isn't quite as good.
Ooh.
Biggest one on the team is going to be Set, and he's in the support role, so not a lot of gold there.
Currently doesn't have Flash or Ignite either, as Klyon goes aggressive, but doesn't quite find the angle there. Matsukaze just a little bit out, and as much as I've been pumping up Trigo, it's going to be a tough game because Matsukaze is also an AD carry that can hold his own. As much as VORAX did go down yesterday, it was not Matsukaze's fault by any means. Certainly quite powerful on the misfortune that he was piloting. This time piloting Jin, another one of those very bursty AD carries. But we might be seeing a dive in the top side as Yampi's up here. FNB gets the stun down, but a nice flash will save Kiari for now. Costs VORAX very, very little. Just the flash on FNB, and all of a sudden, you can regank this lane even. We'll see if they do.
And this is what we were talking about when back when we thought Galio was going mid lane, is that they don't even need the Galio to pull off these dives, right? And they just dove Gragas at 3 minutes. Kind of gives you an idea what's going to be going on at 6 minutes plus once they hit those ultimate abilities at level 6. It's going to be VORAX just living up in the top lane and trying to take Kiati down. And yeah, Gragas shouldn't have a very good time. Ooh,
No, certainly
uh,
not. That was a very nicely placed haymaker.
yeah.
Unfortunately, didn't quite find anything. You can already see the pings towards the top side, though. As much as there's action in the bot side,
Jeez.
you can see Yampi already
Brutal.
walking up. This is going to be really tough. He does have the ability to get around this wall very quickly, but Kiari, still with the body slam available, should be relatively safe here.
Dumpy walks over the ward there.
I
It's
think they're looking
unfortunate. The
for it. There's no,
lightning.
there's
Oh,
no
it's
body
close.
slam right now, but FNB just does not have the health bar. What concerns me right now, of course, you don't want to see too much investment in this from VORAX, but is what happens once you hit the level 6 here, because once Volibear does get that infamous ability to turn off the towers, that is a dive that all of a sudden goes very, very, very VORAX favored.
Absolutely. And Kiati's got some tools, right? To be able to get out of a dive situation. They're on long cooldowns. Of course, so is the Volibear ultimate. But yeah, if you drop that explosive cast right in the middle of everybody, it tends to kind of disengage those dives as an option for them there. Teleport back into the top lane.
That
Strigo takes some
ward.
damage.
That ward almost cost Trigo his life in a very, very nicely timed flash, but unfortunately, a little bit of greed from Yampi could cost him his. The ward will spot out FNB, who's on the rotation, but House is here as well. Won't quite find Yampi as the flash does take him away, but House picks it up and will be able to follow him up for first blood on a nice roam.
And that's what we were talking about. If you're looking at that skill shot placement and thinking, man, he probably could have just hit him. The goal isn't always to hit them, right? Sometimes it's just to stop them from moving in a direction. And Yampi actually had to backtrack a little bit to dodge that skill shot, and it ended up killing them anyway. Almost better than actually just hitting the skill shot.
Yeah, you end up getting exactly what you came for either way, and I like what you point out is like the high level play of these guys isn't always that you have to land everything. Your skill shots just have to bring you into a point where you do get what you want anyways. It's an outmaneuvering game, and we definitely see that pulled off a lot in the bot lane as we just saw, because Jhin, if any single skill shot lands, if you do manage to get them just a little bit out of position, he can lock them down long enough for you to take them down.
Certainly. Froststrike going to be starting up the dragon here. And this is a noble goal indeed. Yampi's up in the top side of the map, not going to have an opportunity to answer this back, so this is just free for the Graves.
Yeah,
Good stuff.
I don't really see Yampi coming down for the foreseeable future. It seems like he's definitely wanting to get FNB ahead before anything happens, and still sitting at 0-0-0 is the Volibear. I'm sure they'd like to amend that right now, especially because it's already cost them a little bit. There's a little bit of a sunk cost fallacy going on towards the top side, and you can see the investment from Was here as well. He's down to get dirty.
Absolutely there. Was roaming up to the top side. And it's almost like this top lane is at critical mass. They have to make something happen.
You see the question mark pings, but Kiari is definitely going to be feeling them right now. Gets taunted up, gets stunned up, and Crastiel's here to hopefully clean up this kill as well. It is a foregone conclusion. And even as we get the last couple
This
autos
is a
in here,
lot
even
of
as
time.
4 members walk up here, they're going to give it over to
Yeah.
Yampi. God bless their souls.
So you see the rotation up there from Matsukaze up in the mid lane, trying to dissuade a little bit of the pressure in that mid lane. But look at the plates going down here in the bot lane. And to be honest, it took so much time to kill Kiati top lane that I'm wondering if that was even worth it. I mean, they had 4 members up there, all sharing experience in that lane, all looking for just the one kill. I don't know if that was particularly worth it.
And yeah, we were thinking about Shrigo earlier. Yes, as Matsukaze, you stopped the mid lane plates from falling, but you've given over to the tune of about 300 gold, an advantage to Shrigo now, who is, in my opinion, the hope of Rensga.
Ooh.
How's nice chunk there is. I think his Zoe mechanics have yet to disappoint me. I've been pretty impressed this game.
For sure, yeah. At this level of play, it's the type of deal where if you land like 2 of these on Zoe, you win lane. Like that's just the
Hmm.
reality of it. Now you're playing against pros, so that's easier said than done. But he's landed one of them. Um, Fortunately for Crastiel, he's full health when that hit, so it might not be as effective as normal. But um, geez, topside. Okay, so this is very very bad. You're looking at this and you're thinking, okay, I mean, red side's taking a Rift Herald. Rift Herald's useful, but it's not the end all be all, right? Remember how much time VORAX has spent in this top lane, in this top side of the map, trying to secure map control, just to lose Rift Herald. That's disastrous. This is really, really bad.
Yeah, my question here is what you value more, because Vorax spent a lot of time in the top lane for about 300 gold. If you get more than 300 gold out of that Rift Herald, you're feeling good. Right now though, Vorax, you've just given them a way back in because you've given Matsukaze that same amount of gold that Trigo was able to pick up. Now you've got no difference in your rules.
Certainly there. And, oh, here we go. Trigo.
Nice killer
Managed to get
instinct
out
from
of that
Trigo.
one.
That was
If
pretty
there's
spooky.
something, yeah, definitely. If there's something that VORAX has going for them, it's just CS numbers. At present time, a lot of the things we're talking about are kind of being mitigated by just the raw amount of CS they have. Like FNB is a 30 CS lead right now, and that is, oh, unless he dies here. Okay, yeah, that's a flash out. That's not a good look, but um, yeah, it's almost like, and they're professional players, right? So it's difficult for me to say things like this, but I almost don't like the Volibear pick
Mhm.
because it's so coin flippy, even at this high level of play, to go for a turret dive. And there's always that level of risk, right? That you'll get outplayed, and the enemy Gragas will get a triple kill in her tower or something like this. And for the level of comfort that I see FNB having under the enemy turret, I don't think they should have picked this. He doesn't seem very comfortable underneath this turret.
Yeah, certainly not in the Gragas matchup as well, where Gragas can very clearly hold his own. Froststrike, though, wanting to invest a little bit of time into this bot lane is here. And you can see Yampi in the top side. They know that he's there. It's going to be completely unanswered. It's just going to be turret plates falling for FNB. But Froststrike gets to drop this Rift Herald, and I think that's going to be first tower
That's first
going
turret.
over to Trigo Kylon.
Yep. This is paying for their sins here in the top lane. And yeah, it's so much pressure on the top side of the map just to drop Rift Herald and lose first turret bot lane. Anyway, yikes.
Oh, you talked about how
Whoa.
Zoe only needs to land 2 skill shots. I raise you 1 skill shot.
Yep.
Grastiel already needs to base.
Needs to base, and turret plating's up for another 3 minutes, Dia. So the rotation for Wasp comes out, and from the entire bot lane is going to come out into this mid lane to try and protect that turret. Good rotation there. Not too much to protect for them bot lane, so it's a pretty obvious choice. But FNB being shoved out. Oh, Kiara's going to cancel this. That's real bad.
That is
Now
rough.
Kiara's going to be able to shove this in. He might be able to cancel the back again if he gets the wave in fast enough. Yeah, he
That
cancels it again. Oh no.
that is really rough. FNB is not having a good time here. Despite the early attention, gold is even for the teams, and FNB is walking away none the wiser. Unfortunately, very much wiser is Froststrike, who's managed to pick himself up 2 dragons in the meantime. So if gold is even, if champs are even, if farm is even, and you got 2 dragons, it's the small advantages that Rensga this time, unexpectedly, I'll say, are picking up.
And not just 2 dragons either, but all the neutral objectives so far have gone down to Rensga and okay, yeah,
And
Kiari.
you choose to invest in top lane. Again, the body slam should be up shortly to get him over the wall, and it's not even needed, as Client instead decides that
Ooh,
he wants to engage. The Galio ultimate will dissuade it, though, and Client gets to walk out of here. House is here for the backup, and nobody sees him just yet. Now Was is going to spot him, but I think it's too late. Was should be taken down, flashes away, gets exhausted, and is burning down to red buff. Yampi tanking a lot of
woo.
damage for him as FNB wants to follow it up, but you just cannot get on top of Rensga at this point, and they will walk away. No kills given over to either side.
Yeah, nothing quite given up there. The call expended, though that cooldown is relatively short. Teleport used for FNB2 at some point in that fight. Kiari maintains their teleport, so if they're looking to make more objective plays around that teleport, that's something that is open to them. And remember, this is just a fight that went even. And if you're a Vorax and spending more resources on an even fight than Rensga is, Rensga wins.
Yeah, Trico very nearly had a kill there too, and that would have been
Yep.
really disastrous to put him up over the top. Matsukaze has been doing pretty well in CS, though, is keeping up with him, and same can be said more or less across the board. The one thing that you do have in top lane, though, is about a 40 CS lead at the moment. Sorry, at the moment, and that's pretty good for Volibear.
It really is. It's massive for them. If for no other reason than to shut out the Gragas, but also keep in mind for the front to back team fighting comp that we're seeing for VORAX, the Volibear is part of that front line, and he's
Hmm.
probably the biggest part at this point. It's something that they want to use to protect their long range carry in Jin, and something they want to fight alongside their short range carries in Lucian and Talia. And that is definitely going to be enabling their team fight comp. Plating still up for another 10 seconds, by the way.
Oh,
Feels
can
like
he
this has
get
already
it?
been a 30-minute game.
Trigo's definitely gonna get it. He's gonna get the other. Oh no! Two more autos. Come on, man. Oh no, he's not. He's not gonna get it. That would have been
It's
another
close.
160 gold. That would have been pretty good. But we end this phase with still basically even gold on both sides. VORAX do have a slight advantage, and honestly, a lot of those have gone over to Matsukaze. He's been moving around the map a lot.
He really has, and that's exactly what you want to be seeing from your Jin, is more global mobility than micro mobility. It's just something that Jin does not necessarily have, and it's something that's so important for these immobile carries is just to be in the right place and not be responding constantly to something. That's something that they don't necessarily excel at, right? It's not like Lucian who can come flying across the map, dashing over walls and stuff like that. Jin just has to right click there. So being there beforehand is very, very important. Rift Herald started up, this time by VORAX. This would be Rensga's first neutral objective lost, and we'll see if they do lose it.
It doesn't
I
seem like they
think,
want to contest it at the moment, instead opting for that
yeah.
mid and bot priority. Look how far Kiari's pushed up.
It's almost like they've been granted the key to the city. VORAX has been very good at the rotations and making sure that they're covered. A couple times they left themselves uncovered down the bot lane, and we saw Rensga punish very effectively. And Rensga punishing again here down the bot lane, able to shove in that tier 2 turret there. I think got it down to half health, but I am not in control of the camera here, Dion. I could not tell you.
You know what I'd like to be in control of is the Riot Skins team. What's happening with this Gragas skin? I want more of this in my life.
It's good stuff.
What is this? Do you know what Gragas skin this is?
Yeah, this is a oh god, legendary armor skin.
Oh,
It's a warden skin. So
this
you have
is
warden and marauder.
this is definitely a
Okay.
very, very dead Crass deal. This rings of Kiari earlier, and I think it's a little bit of revenge here. They should give this one over to Froststrike, and he does pick it up. That's going to be a lot of damage given over to Rensga, and even how is escaping against the odds there is going to give the Rift Herald channel in the mid lane, and maybe lose his mid lane tower, but you're not losing a whole lot for Rensga for these kills.
Certainly. And that dragon comes up as well in just 20 seconds. I don't know. See, they have Kiari pushing out the bottom lane, so they might have priority onto this dragon. No one seems to be rotating for the Gragas. And even as I say that, here comes VORAX.
Yeah, the Gragas is more of an afterthought right now. VORAX need to get this dragon because this is a Ocean Rift, and if we do end up getting an Ocean Soul over to Rensga with the amount of consistent damage they can put out, with the Nightmare of Sustain that is already Gragas, I don't see this going super well for you as VORAX, and trying to establish themselves, at least in this jungle, for a bit takes a lot of precedent over Kiari, who now is teleported to the bot lane and is ready to fight.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily agree with some of this positioning from Kiari or the usage of the teleport there. I don't think that was 100% necessary, but he did back and buy. Yeah, he might have bought his mythic item there. I wasn't paying attention.
He
But
certainly did, but the fight starts
jeez.
off, and there goes the dragon. Froststrike picks it up, the third dragon of the game, but leave that be. Jin is cleaning up the kills at the moment. Hasn't found anything else just yet. Crastiel forced to use the cleansing. Kiari still alive on the backside, puts a lot of threat onto Matsukaze. The flash still available for him, but in the meantime, Talia taking down the jungler will eliminate that threat as Matsukaze forced to burn the flash. Now Trigo in quite a bit of trouble. Will be peeled for by Kiari's slowing barrel, and the fight comes up VORAX, but they lose the Drake.
They do lose the Drake, and to be honest, on an ocean map, that really is everything, right? Now they're on Ocean Soul Point, which is a very, very dangerous spot to be for VORAX. You do not want to have to play around this dragon for the rest of the game, especially not with your scaling options who want to do things like shove in waves, continue to stack up the CS. No, now they have to hover around this bot side of the map. Check out this replay. Fantastic ult from Clion there, able to shove back Matsukaze and get some damage down, but it just wasn't enough. The Weaver's Wall comes through,
Oh,
splits the party, and you don't want to split the party. Rensga um, spread to the four corners of the map here. Froststrike going to go down on the back end to Yampi, who's just headhunting, right, at that point. And wow, yeah, it's just great positioning, I would say, from this side. And almost, I said it was a good ult for Clan, but his team didn't really follow up that hard. So it almost looked like he went in alone, but he did get a lot of damage down onto Matsukaze, which is super important. I feel like if his team had followed up a little bit harder, maybe they could have made something happen. But there's not a lot of range um, on this team, right? Probably the most range or the highest range carry is the Zoe, and you got one skill shot. So um, it's kind of a situation where you need to be engaged on if you're
mm.
Rensga.
Yeah, and you need to be ready to fight, certainly. Like, this, it can't be something where you're still piecing together whether you want to or not as half of you, because when you go in, you have to be committing things like the Trigo Killer Instinct to actually get the damage in there. The fact that FNB did the most damage in that fight for the side of VORAX says a lot, because he's the only one that was in the front line actually smacking down. Nobody else from Rensga even wanted to turn back on him, so VORAX's carries didn't really get involved. Right now, though, they're certainly getting involved as Yampi and Krastiel chase off Froststrike, but FNB here to follow it up. Dunks down, doesn't quite find it, but now might be overcommitting. Clion goes over the wall with the Facebreaker, but does not choose to continue the fight any further.
Well, we love to see a full tank Volibear here on the unofficial English broadcast. So how many tanks have you seen build Frostfire Gauntlet? Oh,
Oh,
Trigo.
dude, one more auto would have killed him there. But now, actually, he's in a lot of trouble
boy.
himself. I think he might just go down here. He's dodging around, even invest the flash to get
Okay.
out of here. And Was not going to be able to find him. Trigo, whoo! Fancy feat.
Yeah, sometimes the fish escape the barrel, even when you're shooting them in there. But yeah, Trigo gets out of that situation. Almost got the freebie on Iapi. Almost. It was a close one. But yeah, no, the Volibear has a Frostfire Gauntlet. I don't think I've seen this yet in Season 11 as a pro player building this item, but it's a direct nod to what Volibear is trying to make happen in response to the burst damage coming out of Rensga, right? The item gives you max health with each legendary item you complete. No other item in the game does that. I don't think, anyway. He's got the Grasp of the Undying also bolstering his max health. And got some resistances to go along with it there. The vision game getting played expertly by Clion, spotting out Was and the MP.
I really like the way that they'll stagger their movement as well. You've seen a couple of supports do this at this point, but walk into what they know is Fog of War around a pink ward and then wait a long time before dropping their initial ward, so it's harder to track their movement. I'm sure that it's a like 0.1% difference in whether you get caught out or not, but it seems really cool to be able to manipulate the knowledge of pathing like that.
Hey, I would take a 0.1% increase in my win rate. I think
That's
most
true.
people would. Yeah, I'll take that all day. But House, a little bit of zoning abilities there. There's the bubble as well.
And I
Dropped out.
wonder,
This should be the
because
fight.
as Rensga, this is your luxury fight. You don't even have to take this Drake because they're still under pressure. But Clion gets bopped in, and all of a sudden you have lost a little bit of a health bar here. Wow, the
Ooh.
the collateral damage just takes down Yampi. Now you've got no jungler as VORAX, and all of a sudden you have to take the fight. Rensga casually have found their way into a situation where they could just win the game-deciding fight right here.
They certainly could.
You haven't got a tank in FNB either. We see the fishing coming out for Matsukaze. I'd love to see a little fishing rod Jin skin, but it's not even necessary at the moment. Rensga have first rotation onto this dragon. There is a double taunt that comes in though, and Matsukaze is no slouch when it comes to damage. Flashed on by Kiari, gets taken down, and another kill goes over to Trigo. Now Krastiel needing to limp his way out. FNB has regained quite a bit of health, but can't find his way into the dragon, and that's going to be Ocean's Soul given over to Rensga.
I don't know if we've seen a professional instance of a comeback from Ocean Soul. Maybe we have, but I haven't seen it. And I don't really think it's possible. It's just a 1K gold difference between these teams, though. So if it was going to happen, it would have to happen here. And to be honest, I'm a little impressed that Rensga managed to take all 4 dragons. Oh, here's the replay here. So coming out immediately, Yampi dropping the damage down, steps up too far, gets hard engaged on by the Zoe, and deleted there by the collateral damage, as you had pointed out earlier. After that, the rest is history. I mean, damage, once again, VORAX splits the party here. FNB runs off into the nether while everybody else is on the back end. Call gets dropped, almost takes down Clown, but remember, the push button gets shield for Set is massive. Ult comes out from Jin, deals some damage, but not too much. Matsukaze is a little behind here. Was tries to go in, play the tank role. He's just a support, though. Can't make it happen. Trio picks up the double kill on that end, and it's just Crastiel. And part of me wanted me Crastiel to get the penta here. I think like a perfect Lucian could have, but that is a tall order. That was a lot of enemy champions.
Yeah, there was a lot to contend with there for Rensga, and for VORAX as well. But to me, the nice thing about that, obviously, Was sets something nice up for Matsukaze to go in on. Kiari shuts that down immediately, and Kiari very silently, because he's been surviving more pressure than anything, has been doing very, very well in this game, absorbing a lot of pressure, but still making this team fight impact on the Gragas.
For sure. And remember back to just the first couple levels, this was a 30 CS difference. It's only grown to like 40 or 50. So yeah, not a huge loss by any means, and he's only died once.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, doing very, very well. Something I'd like to point out is that FNB is 100% kill pressure. In fact, I think um, yeah, so does Yampi as well. So um, or kill participation, not pressure. Excuse me, not 100% kill pressure from the Volibear. A
You're
Wasp,
about to get a lot of
jeez.
kill pressure, though, as that
Yep.
Sleepy Trouble Bubble was the end of an era there. There is going to be the Jin ultimate channel on the back end, as everybody needs to peel for Trigo. Even Clyon flashes the wall to
Oh,
make it happen. Might get sniped there, but does manage to sidestep the Jin captive audience. And now we'll be able to recall reset on no vision. We can see FNB. In the bot lane, we talked about the CS disadvantage. She's trying to make this matter, but this is where I think Volibear really struggles, right? Because if you're not ahead enough to continue forcing team fights to be unstoppable in there, you're not going to side lane better than something like even a Gragas or anybody.
absolutely, and that's something that I always hated about the Volibear pick is that you look at it in a vacuum. It's like we're pro players, man. If I can turn off a turret for 2 seconds, think of what I could have happen in those 2 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pros are so adept at making use of just a very short amount of time, but the reality is that you're not Camille. You're not like a big strong side top laner. If Camille could turn off a turret for 2 seconds, she'd be just so busted. But because Volibear can do it, doesn't necessarily mean that he's super OP. He's actually pretty balanced. But reality is, laning phase, they didn't make enough happen in the top lane for this champion to really matter. He's just kind of a big tank now, and you can see that in the itemization. And that's what I really appreciate about this is that they never thought that this was going to be some big strong side juggernaut. That's not what Volibear is. It's not what he's supposed to be in pro play. He's just kind of somebody who enables a jungler to get fed off of turret dives and then tanks up in the late game, and that's what he's done.
Yeah, he matters. The Volibear pick to me matters just exactly as much as Yampi is fed. Yampi has accomplished his purpose by being in the top lane, has gotten a few kills. The problem is, by being in the top lane so much, Rensga have gotten so much else. And by that, I specifically mean the Ocean Soul right now. They get to start
Yeah.
up this Baron for free, but that's something that, since we haven't seen a fight, we haven't really seen have the impact that we know Ocean Soul can have. It's gonna happen at some point.
Oh, House. Not known
This
for their
might be
mobility.
a dead house. I'm really not sure. It does manage to survive for an inordinate amount of time, but does get picked off in the end. Does it matter to Rensga? Yes. Is it the end of the world? Not really. This is just a small way in for VORAX. There's a possibility that they take something here, though.
For sure, yeah. VORAX have that 5v4 pressure now. Could look to turn this into a Baron play. Gonna be an uphill battle for him, though, as Rensga are in the area and do not need to back down from this fight, as far as I'm concerned. They have all the members that matter of their team right now. Zoe's just kind of a support for them at the moment, so they're gonna go in.
Yeah, there goes Wasp starting the fight off really well with a triple taunt, and Set pulls you into the back line, but all of a sudden, VORAX are just getting AoE'd down. Now, Froststrike gets to go on the hunt here in the back line, but it is just cleanup right now as they dump everything into the side of VORAX. Clion starts it off with a beautiful showstopper, and Froststrike just gets to run him down from that point on. Rensga, they have won that fight so convincingly that VORAX cannot be feeling good.
I wouldn't be. Losing a 4v5 like that, that's not fun stuff. House doesn't even go to the Baron, doesn't need to. They immediately rotate over to Elder Dragon, which spawns just now. So this is going to be the instant rotation, or at least it should be, from Rensga over to that objective. House, look at the damage on this objective. This is a mage, by the way. Wow.
Mage, by the way.
Just chunking it, man. That's such a low cooldown on the ability, too. Yeah, Paddlestar is super busted, especially late game, but you can't dodge them all. Elder Dragon and Baron going down for Rensga here, Dia. I don't know what the folks on Twitter were thinking, but they were incorrect. Rensga takes this game, at least as far as I'm concerned. I mean, they don't come back. They have Ocean Soul, right? They have the Baron buff. They have the outer turrets down, so there's not that preventing them from ending the game or anything like that. And now they have Elder Dragon too. So this has to be it, right?
Yeah, you can only imagine so, especially with the way that last team fight went. When I was looking at the composition from Rensga, I was going, their team fight just is not as good as VORAX's. But they very much proved me wrong there, not only with a very small gold advantage, but with the fact that there's no real true frontliner to speak of on the side of VORAX, especially when you can just set them right back into the team. Wasp did an immense amount of damage to his very own teammates right there, and it's just off Clion pressing R.
Absolutely, yeah. It's something that the set was always going to do really well, is counter that front line. And critically too, is that front line doesn't matter a whole lot if the enemy team can get a ton of burst damage down to your backline in a very short amount of time, which is something that Graves and Kai'Sa do exceptionally well, right? Is just avoiding front lines and getting into that backline, and Set gets back there very easily too. But yeah, I think just Rensga putting on a clinic on early game macro. There's the Weaver's Wall. It's going to shut out Trigo for a little bit, but that's about it. Yeah, it drops now.
Yeah, my eyes are on Trigo, though, as we approach this last fight, because so much has been invested in him. He's the only member that hasn't died just yet, and he is the shining star, in my opinion, of Rensga right now. So we'll see if he can really strut his stuff in this last fight, especially with the Elder Drake. They can be so flashy. House is the one, though, really putting down the damage. They're constantly throwing out these paddle stars, and hey, in the base, it's a little harder to find them, but they are still doing damage. Yampi goes to half health and just gets obliterated by House as the fight, I want to say, starts off, but it feels like it's over.
Gets super blown up. Here's the ult from Jhin.
Yeah, Curtain Call is going to do a mild chunk of damage. Haymaker still available, though, and Trigo still alive in the backline, goes invisible and takes down multiple members. Froststrike cleans up the rest, and Rensga, they get to clean up the side of, oh my god, the side of VORAX there is, excuse me, I was choking on, I guess, carry potential. Good god.